Howdy, 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 everybody. Theresa here, and
Me?
him, Mr. Hi-Ho.
It wasn't very nice.
It's nice. Hi. It's February 21st, 2016. Sunday afternoon.
Sunday.
It is 12:18 p.m. Brad came in and woke me up about 11 a.m. because he's missing me. Temperature-wise, it's 35 degrees out right now. Real field temperature 31. The high will be 44. Low will be 25. But there is no wind.
Really?
No wind.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is Wyoming.
Yeah, which is very nice because we've had such high winds. Walmart hadn't had a truck in about 4 days, somebody posted, because of the high wind.
Yeah, not surprised with that.
And when Walmart's out of stuff, you be in trouble. What?
Nothing?
You just said it had to be normal.
Well, that's too much to ask.
I know.
Yeah.
We got a freak little snowstorm. Was it last night?
It was, yes. I mean, it snowed when I was at work.
Did it?
But not very much.
We didn't get any out here.
Yeah. And then it snowed a little bit. I mean, just enough to put some white on the ground, and that was it.
Yeah, it was weird. We're supposed to get snow tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much. I don't really care.
Nope.
How's that?
That works.
Anyway, let's see. What did I do yesterday? Not much. I can't even know what I did in the afternoon.
Folded a whole bunch of
Well, I know,
laundry.
but that's, well, yeah. I just kind of played some Facebook games and then messed with the dog. I laid down for about an hour. Then I got up. I was going to fold laundry, but instead I chit-chatted with Dina Mosquito Valley.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, and yeah, we got on the phone. It could be at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, we get to catch up and have a good old time, you know, every couple of weeks, which is always great.
And you know what was funny about that is when I walked in, I would have known exactly who you're talking to because she talks funny.
See, Dina, he had to say it, didn't he?
Y'all.
And I had texted him because he usually calls me on his way home and said, "Don't call me, I'll be on the phone with Dina." He's like, "Okay." You know, and I have him well trained because he knows when Dina and I are on the phone, it's going to be at least a couple hours.
Wait a minute. No, it's not that you have me well trained. I was getting hungry.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought I had you well trained.
No.
Because he started just making dinner.
Yeah, I was getting hungry.
Oh, I thought I had you well trained. I
No.
thought you were just being loving, going, "Oh, I'll let
No,
her
I
have
was
her
getting
time with
hungry.
her friend."
Nope, I was getting hungry.
Because you know that I'm not one to talk on the phone for very long
No.
unless we really click.
Yeah.
And you know, she and I really click.
And you know I always demand food on the table when I get home from work, and it better be there, woman.
There was cat food on the table in the corner of the table. There was some bread. There was food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kidding about that.
Yes, I am.
So we had a great conversation, and as always, she always, you know, lifts my spirit and makes my whole day. So, and then after that, after we ate dinner, then I went in and folded a ton of clothes in my husband's room. My clothes, his clothes, a lot of bedding, a lot of towels and stuff. Got that all sorted out. Because, you know, that hurts his back, all the bending and twisting and stuff. And, you know, a lot of times he just doesn't have time for it. And when he gets home from work, he's in enough pain that we do whatever we absolutely have to. And then it's time to start doing, like, the Bengay and the TENS unit and having him lay on the floor, stretch his back out. His back must be hurting today. Have you taken any more leave?
I did.
Okay, you take your second dose?
No.
You can take your second dose now.
No, because I didn't take my drugs until about 8.
Okay, here in an hour.
Hours.
Here in an hour you can.
Yeah, it's only been 4 hours.
So I got all that done, and then I decided, while I was in my room putting away my clothes, I wanted to strip my bed, and then I remade it. So I had all nice, clean bedding, which was lovely, because after that I showered. So, I love that when everything is just all nice and fresh, and I slept like a baby last night.
Good.
But after I got done showering and everything, I couldn't resist. I don't have the shawl done. I still got to finish doing the fringes. I couldn't resist. Okay, I had to start me a hat. So this is the hat I started. Here's the inside. This is that Charisma. This is the Charisma Passion, and it is rainbow color, which I just love. So I really like this. This is the first time I've really worked with the Charisma. Dina got me on the Charisma and knit pick. So right now I'm starting a 3-step stitch on this last row here, which will give it kind of a nice lacy look, which I haven't done it on a hat before, and it should be very pretty. So that's what I'm doing. That's what's on my loom. I will finish fringing out that shawl, but I just couldn't resist anymore. I was sitting there all happy. That's why I ended up staying up late last night, hon. I had to make myself put this down. So I'm sitting there, were you still up when I cast on this hat? Yeah, I had just started casting on when you went to bed. So, that's what I'm doing. Today, I have to, as soon as I get done with this and have it start uploading. You see how the birds are along the fence?
Which?
Come look out this window. See all the doves?
Oh, yeah.
That's what Charlie runs out. If you let Charlie out right now, he would go charging on that back fence.
Yeah.
Just to watch him fly off.
Scatter the birds.
Yeah. Every day when you let out Charlie, he's like looking at me like, "What are you talking about me?" He will run to the back fence, and the doves all line up on our fence and our neighbor's fence, and he'll go charging the fence just to watch them fly off.
Watch them scatter.
Yeah. But I have to print shipping labels, and then I have to get the shipping ready to go. Then we'll be taking the captain for an RIDE.
Yeah,
well, we go do that because it's really weird. Our main post office does not have just a drop off for your packages. The postage is already paid for, but our little one out in a nearby town does. So we just go out there, and that way my husband doesn't have to try to get off work and stand in line and la-da-da-da-da, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing. And I'm not sure what else we're going to do. My hip, my sciatica in my back and my hip is acting up my right side today. I might have done too much last night because I did do a lot. I mean, that was a lot of laundry. And then stripping my bed and everything and remaking it. Because my bed is up in a corner. So, 2 of the 4 sides, there's walls. So I had to move the mattress out. And then you really have to stretch, to get the fitted sheet on the corners where there's walls. And I moved that, and I did a lot of picking up under beds and stuff like that in both rooms. So just wait for the Tylenol to kind of kick in. But it kind of hurts, and I can tell his back is really hurting. So I'm not sure if we're going to be downstairs doing much or not. And we'll have to wait and see. So, but anyway, Brad is going to talk to you guys now about what's been going on and how he's feeling and all of that stuff. So, do you want to trade me places?
Nope.
Well, I don't want to sit here and stare at him while you do that.
Well, yes, but you're prettier than I am. So
well, can you at least hand me a looming hook then?
I can't.
I can't just sit here and do nothing.
Where are your looming ones.
They're right there in that cup. The orange handles, yeah.
Okay.
I can't just sit here and do nothing while he talks to you guys.
Yes, but I can't sit there because
What?
I'm not wearing any pants.
They won't see you.
Well, I know, but
I can turn this around.
No.
Okay.
You know how much I like my picture taken.
Okay.
So, Wednesday, sometime Tuesday night, sometimes Wednesday.
Oh, I haven't told them when the service is on.
Dad passed away. The services are going to be next Saturday at 11, and I'm just going to take a brief time off of work. I don't know how many
It's just a memorial service.
Yeah, it's just, because he's being cremated. And I don't know how many of you know, but he adopted me. Mom's my biological mom. And they got married when I was about 3 years old. And ever since I was probably 14, 15, somewhere in there, I didn't feel like I was ever part of the family. I've got 3 little sisters, and I've always felt like I was the outsider. And Theresa had to have a conversation with me several years ago about why I was trying so hard, because, I'd call Dad, see if he wanted to go fishing or if he wanted to go hunting or, if he wanted to do this and wanted to do that. And he was always too busy. And then a couple times I found out when I talked to him about fishing that he called my nephews and took them out fishing. And I remember a couple times I asked him about going hunting, and after I talked to him, he called this one church member and had him go hunting. So, he always had time for everybody else, but never had time for me. And that's a lot of years. That's a lot of years of anger. And finally, Theresa said, hey, it's never going to happen. Every time you try, you're just upsetting yourself more. And I retired from the grocery store about 5.5 years ago. And after I retired, I went to convenience store chain, and I was a manager. And the last store I worked at, it was really close to where he lived, and he was coming in the store every day, and briefly I thought, well, maybe this is headed in the right direction. And then when I quit that job, I told Theresa that I'll probably never hear from him again because it's not right there, and I never heard from him again. And it's just, I've always felt like the bastard stepchild. The hardest thing I have that I'm having to deal with right now is all these people telling me how wonderful he was. And, he was wonderful to everybody else, but except for me. And so I have a lot of anger issues, and it's something I know I should get over, but I can't. And, it's one of those things where, I've always felt like, treat our kids equally, and I try hard to do that. I know sometimes I don't, but, I never wanted our girls to feel like the bastard stepchild like I do, and it's just, they keep wanting to try to drag me in the middle of everything. I kind of let him know that I was not going to be available to go through his apartment and go through his stuff.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And, I had to go to the funeral home a couple days ago to sign paperwork, so he could be cremated and everything. But yeah, it just, it's one of those things where in order to protect my own emotions and my own sanity, I have to separate myself as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And I figure, let his daughters deal with this stuff, because I'm done. I've had enough. I don't want anything. And Theresa and I have never been that way. There's
what you wanted was his time, a little bit of time and mm-hmm. his love. Right?
Yeah. He never ever told me he loved me. And it was kind of strange because I didn't realize until we saw some paperwork, a year or two ago, that, he and Mom got married when I was about 2.5 years old, but I wasn't adopted till I was almost 12. So if he loved me that much, why did it take him almost 10 years to adopt me? I kind of asked a little bit about that, and I'm smart enough to know that there's always three sides to the truth. There's his side, her side, and then there's the actual truth.
Right.
But it's just, it's just trying to keep my emotions in check, trying to keep my anger suppressed, so I don't go off on the wrong person. And, that's something Teresa's had to work with me ever since we've been together, because when we first got together, I showed virtually no emotion.
Right.
And she's been working with me on showing emotion. And then, it's taken a little understanding from her, because not only was I suppressing the good emotions, but suppressing the bad emotions.
Right.
So, once in a while when I let the bad emotions out,
I would be really shocked.
Yeah. And it's just
kind of like, where was this coming from? And
yeah.
It's like, well, you got to take the all of the emotions, not just select.
Yeah. And another thing with the father figure is
the father
figure. I have a hard time with father figures because I've never really had one. I mean, the best example I had was what not to do.
Right.
And and I was most people aren't lucky enough to be rejected by two fathers.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing I've gone through being adopted is why were his other two kids good enough to keep, but I wasn't.
Right.
And it's just.
There's just been so many lies told to him, like, he's asked repeatedly why his middle name is what it is, and he was told.
A friend of the family.
Yeah, and that's not the case.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it's when Theresa and I got married, I didn't have a prime example about what to do to be a good father, so I just, I had to listen to Theresa and kind of learn as I go. And
yeah, but you had a really good grandfather, and you were a great father.
Yeah. And that's the family that I was adopted into. It's kind of funny because the person who made me feel like I was a real part of the family was my adopted grandmother, and it was kind of cool.
Oh, to her, you were not adopted at all. You were all the way.
I remember how many times people would, she would introduce me to her friends, and they would say, "Oh, you two look so much alike." And here I am 6 foot tall, and she was like 4 foot nothing, and yeah.
Oh, I loved his grandmother.
Yep,
his grandmother was just wonderful. I just, that's one thing that, some people you just never really get over passing away, and that's for us. And funny enough, that's his father's mother. So. And
I know I'm turning into a typical old person. You get these same stories that you tell over and over and over again. And when we first moved from Hawaii to Wyoming, I remember my grandparents lived in Laramie at the time, and they took us up to the snowy range, and we had a barbecue and everything. And I was just this little 4 or 5 year old kid, and first time I'd ever seen snow, and I was throwing snowballs, and I would run up to her and say, "Grandma, my hands are so cold," and she'd warm them up. And I don't know how many times over the years I heard that story from her, And, you know, I never got tired of hearing that story.
Never got tired of hearing that story.
You know, and last few days she was alive. It was kind of cool because she was pretty much, she seemed unaware of what was going on around her. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the day before she passed away. Were you there when I did that?
What?
Telling her that she could go.
No, that was that morning.
Okay. And, oh yeah, it was the morning she passed away, wasn't it?
Right, because then you left to go get me, and and the minute you left the room, she did then pass away.
But she was pretty much unaware of her surroundings, or so everybody thought, and I went over and sat on the edge of her bed and held her hand. And I don't know what prompted me to say this, but I told her that, Grandma, my hands are warm now. And an hour later, she passed away.
Yeah.
You know?
Said, my hands are warm now, you can go be with Grandpa, because he had passed away many years before.
Yeah. And remember that night the thunder started cracking, and we were joking about Grandma's probably lining out Grandpa.
Yeah, the night that she passed away that evening, we got a thunderstorm, and we said that she was probably lining out Grandpa.
Yep. Yeah. But, you know, you see all these adoptive stories on TV, you know, about...
and I know some people have wonderful, you know, adoptions. So, you know, this is just his experience.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if you know, if I'm in a great minority that I have no desire to meet my sperm donor. You know, I've met my brother, and
him and his brother are close.
Yeah.
You know, and Brad's respectful of the relationship his brother has with his father and stuff, but you know, he doesn't have any.
Yeah. You know, but you know, the whole thing goes back as, you know, with Dad's passing away and everything. You know, it's just I don't want to be involved. You know, I for a lot of years now, I never really felt like he was a father to me. You know, I felt like all he ever did was belittle me and make fun of me, and you know, that's not the way dads are supposed to be.
No.
You know.
No.
And you know, the thing I get upset about is that Mom and my sisters, I feel like they're trying to force me into doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just stubborn enough, ain't gonna happen.
No, it's easy for people to judge.
Yeah.
You know, and I know everybody judges. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. You know, none of us are perfect, you know, but, you know.
You are.
Oh, please. Far from it.
Yeah, you are. So.
I know.
Okay, that was all I had to say.
Okay. Yeah, I did not ask him to talk about that. It was something he wanted to talk about this morning with you guys on today's vlog. So, you know, it helps him to you know, share his opinion and vent some while he's going through this. You know, because yet again, his mom showed up yesterday. You know, instead of calling him or emailing him or anything, showed up at his work and hung out for a couple hours. And, you know, I mean, you know, he's not trying to earn a living or anything there. So, you know, but, you know, not much longer. And yeah, he won't be there and we won't have to keep dealing with that. So, you know, anyway, wow, this is already pretty long. I hope everybody's having a great day, and remember that I cherish you guys and I cherish your friendships, and I think you guys are awesome.
Thanks for listening.
And yes, that was Brad just sneezing all over the front room. Could you please go wipe the dogs off now?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I did cover my mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to work on getting the shipping ready, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, guys.